I agree with both of you, and like the nuances will shift. Like, let me say this: the details and definitions will shift from man to man, but I think there is still a baseline of basics that exist amongst all men, right? She's got to be feminine. She's got to be cooperative. She's got to keep up with her appearances, right? She's got to either share his value system or willing to fully adopt his value system, right? Those four things, regardless of how a man defines it, how the details, how he wants to like decorate the cake with icings and sprinkles and all of that stuff, I've never heard a man talk about what he wants in a woman and not name all four of those things, unless he's only
Child,
absolutely three.
enough.
Mm-hmm.
Them wives do not be looking good in these streets. They don't. That look thing is down the drain. That's a lie right there. I can
So,
go in the store and tell the ones that's married and the ones that's not.
but hear me out, right? Because here's the thing: is her no longer fulfilling her obligations is not a reflection of what he wants. If
Got you.
she's decided she's not going to keep that up, that's on her. But his sense of obligation keeps her with her. But in terms of what men want, they still want her to keep up with her looks. That doesn't mean you gotta look 25 for the rest of your life. You gotta be put together. You gotta throw something sexy and lacy on from time to time, maybe some leather if he's into that. You gotta hit the gym if you need to, if not, eat better. Like, men still want to feel attracted to you and not have to force themselves to be attracted to you after being with you for a certain amount of time, right?
It's so
They'll
funny.
still do it. They'll still do it, but they would prefer if you kept yourself up so that they didn't have to work as hard at it.
And it's so funny that I said that because now I can see what AD is saying, what Mistaken was saying, no control. Because if the argument was, man, because I know when I marry her, she gonna be eating all the daily snacks, she ain't gonna look nothing like she used to look, she just gonna throw it all away. I can believe a man when they say that because I've seen that. I see that all the time. But that's not what they're arguing about. That's not their argument. Their argument is, I don't have control of her to make her stay in this situation.
Mhm.
But
That sounds crazy.
y'all
Yeah.
know they wouldn't be letting themselves go when
Speak
they
on
get
it, Marcus. Speak on it, Marcus.
Let her make her stay part because come on now. You have a harder time getting her to leave, actually, if you didn't want her no more than to make her stay. That particular part of the argument just sounds crazy to me because if y'all are like what honestly, what women do y'all know be into a man and then just gets up and leaves?
no.
Like I've never that part just throws me off. So you gotta excuse me. I've heard the arguments, but I don't understand it. I think it might be something personally that the person is going through that's affecting and repelling people and pushing them away and they're leaving. I don't think it's just everything copacetic. She wake up one morning and be like, you know what? I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna get a divorce.
That's the
Everything's
story
going
that
well.
they
I love
tell.
him. I really don't think that's true.
In these
I don't.
YouTube streets, that's the way they make it seem. Like that's why
It ain't nothing he doing wrong. She just left.
women don't know what they want. Like they'll wake up one morning and just be like, "Oh, I'm not happy. I want a divorce." And everybody that I know, men and women included, men who initiated divorce, women who initiated divorce, if they're unhappy in the marriage, is not something that just happened. It's something that took time to build up until somebody finally got to the point to say, I don't want to be in this situation anymore. And if you're the person that says, that just came out of left field, men or women alike, that just came out of left field, I don't know, they just woke up one morning, was like, I'm ready to go, then that's the answer right there. You weren't plugged in into the marriage because those situations are never, for the most part, a surprise.
They are.
Miss Taken, I do have a question for you, real quick. What do you
Mhm.
say to those people that say your happiness is not my responsibility? And the woman still gets up and leave, or the man
I
still
got
gets
people
up and
call
leave.
me
But
that.
there are people that say your happiness is not my responsibility. What do you say to those folks?
If if you were saying that when you get married, the idea is that you are supposed to become one, right? So I don't think it is the other spouse's responsibility to make you happy, right? That you should already come with that, right? Like, because nobody's gonna, it reminds me of being in class with these kids and they're looking for the teachers to entertain them all day instead of learning, right? And as a teacher, you're like, listen, I'm gonna give it to you and it's up to you to receive it. You have some responsibility in being an active learner, right? So I think it's the same thing when you're in a marriage. I do think it should be each partner's goal to do things that they know is going to please the other person, right? But I don't think it's their responsibility to make them happy, because happiness is a feeling that is going to flee at some point. And so you can't blame the other person when you're unhappy. You understand what I'm saying? Just like if I'm angry at you, I'm not going to stay angry at you. That's an emotion as well. So if I'm happy, I got to understand that I need to relish in the moment of the happiness, enjoy it for what it is in this moment. And then maybe I need to, think about it when we're going through those periods of, that downturn, which will happen in a marriage. And I could say, even for me, a period of time where I can say that I was unhappy. What kept me in is that even in those moments of unhappiness, I would relive in my mind those moments when we were the happiest. And I remember those and I'm like, man, I want to get that back. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I'm thinking that, you know what? I'm gonna be able to get to that place again. And I can say that what I did love about him is that even when we were going through that, he used to say, I think I guess women be tripping and think, to think that we're always going to be on a high all the time. He said, I think I'm more realistic and understand that just it's nature, that shit gonna be bad sometimes. And that's it, And so for me, I think he wasn't responsible for my happiness in that moment. But what he was responsible for was to make sure that he was still doing his part. Just like I have to be responsible for still doing my part, whether we are happy or not.